Hey everyone, Kevin here, Band One Garage. Thanks for joining me again. Been probably a couple months since I had last posted anything up. Just got busy with life, started a new job, ended up out on the road for quite a few weeks. So just kind of now getting back to some projects here in the shop. Also here in Georgia, finally kind of cooling off here in our first false fall here at the end of August. Sure it'll be blazing hot in the near future, but at least right now, trying to enjoy these kind of low 80s temperatures we're kind of got, so it makes it a little more bearable out here in the metal building. Since I haven't gotten any insulation or anything on it, this thing gets pretty hot in the sun, especially in summertime. But yeah, back here working on another new project. Kind of as I was, had done the patina preserver, I guess the vice grip garage wipe on clear coat on the J10 here. At the time, you kind of saw this engine sitting in the background. So ultimately, this is going to be the next big project. So this is kind of step, I guess, video one of a kind of a series going to be doing on my grandpa's truck. So this actually is an engine out of an airboat. Kind of go over that here more in a minute. But ultimately, the plan is with my grandfather's old K20. Pretty much had the plans to rip the whole front end off anyway. I got new fenders, new inner fenders for the front, just because you kind of see the rust going around those. It's gonna be easier just to replace the entire fender than it is to try to piece the corners and fixes and things. Essentially, at least with my welding skills. And to be honest, with AMD, good thing about living in North Georgia, AMD is just up the road from me. I mean, you can buy a whole new panel for not much more than you can the patch panels. So at that point, why not? Especially when you have to pay shipping, you can just drive over and pick them up. Um, but yeah, the plan is to take out the old 350, the original motor that was in it. It's not a bad motor. Just back in the late 70s, they weren't making a whole lot of power, and ultimately upgrade to this 6-liter LS. So this is based off an L96. So it's actually the exact same motor. It's in my Trans Am, essentially, is what it started out from a factory perspective. Like I said, this was essentially a marine motor. I think by and large, it's pretty much the exact same motor. The only difference is essentially the wiring harness and things from Pleasure Craft, as you can see. So essentially, my next first major task in this whole exercise is going to be stripping off the wiring harness. Pretty much just kind of getting it back down to really the bare essentials. Good thing is, I think I can actually sell the ECU, sell the wiring harness, put it on eBay, and see if I can get a little bit of money back. So my plan is I'm going to be running a Holley Terminator system on this Terminator Max because it is drive-by-wire. Um, so we'll see how that goes. I know there are some limitations with the Holley. It's not the most advanced. The Terminator X Max is not the top end line, but I think for kind of just a good driver, I think it'll be perfect for my needs. Main key is I will have to replace the cam because this does have the variable valve timing motor in it. I guess I could either lock this cam out or just go ahead and replace it. So most likely I'll probably go ahead and put a just kind of a mild cam in it, just to get back to remove the VVT while I'm at it. So go ahead and plus it'll let me go ahead and just take the motor down a little bit further, make sure everything looks good. I mean, this motor only had like 140 hours on it, so it doesn't have a whole lot of use. It spent the majority of its life just sitting inside of a shed. But clean it up a little bit, strip everything down. I think it'll be looking pretty good. And then essentially my plans are I'm going to stick with the TH350 transmission, and I think it's MP203. Um, I know it's not maybe the greatest transmission transfer case combo, but I think it'll be plenty for what this motor is going to make here. It'll also make the swap a whole lot easier. So I got essentially a flex plate and then an adapter hub that goes in essentially to be able to get to the TH350. Got that off Speedway, and then running some ICT billet motor mounts, trying to get it back to the factory location. Sorry if I was out of frame there. But yeah, so kind of ICT, and then have new motor mounts. So everything essentially, while I'm at it, I'll probably go ahead and replace the transmission mount. Pretty much any other rubber that's essentially in the drivetrain. And then on the motor itself, yeah, you can kind of see, with the Pleasurecraft ECU, just kind of, it's just a relatively clean motor. Was a little bit, the engine cover that was on top of it, essentially had mouse had taken up shop somewhere along the lines, and essentially chose to make a home for a little while. So had to kind of clean that up a little bit. But pretty much when I put it in the truck, I was probably gonna pull the intake manifold off and everything anyway, just to be safe, just because it's plastic. Don't want to crack any of that. Um, but then make it a little easier also, just for kind of putting the chains and everything on the motor. Luckily, it's already got the kind of the hangers and stuff. Not sure if that was because that was from the Marine motor. I don't remember my one of my Trans Am didn't come with that. I don't believe, but maybe I'm just off. I think this is around a 2013, 2015 year model, from correctly from the paperwork. But yeah, just a good solid motor. Should be a great, make a great driving truck essentially once I get this swapped over. Um, yeah, and then kind of swing over here to the truck itself. You can see up in the engine bay, probably a little bit on the dark side, but so yeah, still got the original 350. Um, yeah, yeah, I mean, still a good solid 350. When ultimately when my dad, kind of passed this on to me here, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. The truck had been kind of sitting for a while, so we had put a new aluminum radiator in it. You can kind of see through the grill. So may just keep that for now. May upgrade. I don't know. I have to see. I think it's a two core, a 2 row radiator. So I have to do a little research and see, do I need to upgrade to a 3 core, 4 core, and then also, I mean, it might hurt also to have a kind of a dual crossover, to get the top outlet essentially port up over on the passenger side. Because the LS's water pump essentially kind of runs to the opposite side. So I don't know. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. I got a few weeks. Um, right now, first things first was just kind of starting to compile a few of the parts, and get it ready to kind of start just having to start tearing all this down. Plan is take the hood off, take all the fenders, take the grill. I mean, I know you can kind of pick it up and out, but it'll just be easier if I just take everything off. And like I said, since I need to do you know sheet metal anyway, might as well just go ahead and take everything off. I was planning to replace the fenders. I already have those. Set me up a paint booth. See how I can do essentially kind of painting this back to this original buckskin tan color. So kind of want to keep it relatively original. I already went ahead and got started getting some of the new chrome pieces, so I need to get a new grill. But yeah, at least kind of getting a start to getting pieces. And you'll notice, essentially, you got the Jeep now kind of relegated out here to the shop. I guess that's the good thing about no longer having a camper, have a little more parking space. But yes, essentially, got a new daily driver. So with a new job, kind of going back to the office on a regular basis, decided I wanted something to kind of be a good daily. Not, I mean, the Jeep's not terrible, but it's something to have a little bit of fun with, right? So you can kind of see that out here outside. So that's the new ride, 2017 Camaro 50th anniversary convertible. So it's got the, what is it, the LT1 motor, I believe, right? 6.2 liter, 6-speed manual. So it's nice and fun with the convertible top, especially with this weather like we've been having. Makes for great afternoon drives home. And I got it sitting out in the sun right now because I just had the windows tinted up in the Lanaga, shades of gray. So kind of just having it sitting out in the sun, kind of baking any moisture that may be kind of left in the windows, essentially, from after getting that done yesterday. Just trying to make it look as good as possible. But so yeah, let's dig in. Uh, so let's dig in, kind of start stripping the motor down, trying to get all the Pleasurecraft wiring harness, mounting brackets, all those types of things. Kind of get all that loose, get it down to kind of a bare engine, and kind of see how it looks. Probably have to, once we get some of this stuff off, probably can get down in the nooks and crannies and try to clean some more of the mouse nest essentially out of this thing. See if there's any other damage essentially that they had caused. But yeah, start busting off zip ties and electrical connectors and go from there. found it interesting that they actually did have the O2 sensor wiring and everything in this wiring harness from Pleasurecraft. I'm not sure if in certain marine applications they actually run those. I honestly don't know. But yeah, I just kind of found it interesting that it was all there. Take a few photos so whoever I sell this to can actually know how maybe it goes back together. This is actually this is pretty interesting. So I guess they wanted to retain the drive-by-wire throttle body. So they essentially, I guess, kind of rigged up I guess what would be the pedal switch to essentially a throttle cable, to a manual throttle cable. So that essentially came up, and that's kind of how they actuated the drive-by-wire throttle body. So pretty clever. Nice, simple way. I mean, I guess in some ways I could replicate that if I really chose to. But I think it'd probably be easier just to switch to a drive-by-wire pedal in the truck. And I mean, it wasn't that hard when I did the one on the Trans Am. Buy a simple adapter bracket or fab something up essentially and get it mounted to the firewall and do it that way instead of kind of this way. But yeah, I thought that was pretty clever. It's probably how a lot of boat manufacturers are doing this, but first I had seen it. All right, got the harness all off. Took the shop vac, tried to clean the motor up a little bit more, get a little more of the nest, so to speak, that was kind of down around the intake and everything. But yeah, overall pretty clean. Some of that kind of this was kind of where some of the rat mess was kind of happening. I don't know if that's what they were doing the business or what. So took some brake cleaner, sprayed that down. Figured if any type of weirdness going on, disease or anything else, essentially brake cleaner's bound to clean it, right? Yeah, at least good and happy now with kind of how this came out. So next big steps, just continue kind of cleaning this up, get kind of the dust and years over it. We'll pull the intake manifold off. Kind of that's the reason I wanted to kind of take a shop vac and kind of vacuum down around all the nooks and crannies the best I could, just so nothing kind of gets down into the intake when I pull that off. And then I got to get that specialty connector that kind of goes in and lets you release the fuel line from the factory fuel rail there. Buddy of mine has that connector, so I'll get that from him. And then big job will be getting the crank bolt out, pulling the water pump and accessories and everything off, kind of getting it ready to do the cam swap, and then mounting ICT brackets, ICT billet brackets to the side. Yeah, and then got this whole mess here for the wiring harness. So I'll string that out here in the driveway here in a minute, take some photos. So if anybody's looking for a Pleasurecraft ECU wiring harness for an LS, go to eBay. It'll be up on there. But yeah, so good start to the day here. And hey, if you're interested in other projects, we're also kind of working on another one here behind me. My dad's 55 pickup truck. So I don't mind some of the crap I got piled up all around it. But yeah, so check out our other. I'll tag my other channel. Me and my buddy have a side business. We're working SSEV Technologies, doing a 9-inch rear end swap on this with a hybrid axle design. So actually going to have the electric motor built into the 9-inch. So you can still have the gas engine transmission, but have a hybrid power. With a small battery pack, give you a little extra torque, kind of an electric supercharger, so to speak, right? And right now it's got a 283 in it. You never know, the 350 out of my grandpa's truck, maybe we kind of work it over a little bit, put it in this, give it a little more cubic inches. compared to the old 283 that's in it now. But yeah, so that's another project, another channel to kind of check out. I'll tag. So hey, thanks again for joining me. Kind of quick intro, part one here of the LS swap on my grandfather's K20. Kind of join next time. We'll probably start, pulling some parts off, pulling the fender's hood, trying to get ready to pull that 350 out. I kind of showed you I have quite a few parts kind of already in order. Got some other Holly, the Terminator, the accessory drive. Some of that stuff's gonna be coming in the mail pretty soon. Still to get a new torque converter. Probably not going to stick with the factory torque converter that's in the transmission now. Probably go a little bit higher stall. I don't know if anybody has any comments on that, any experience with that with an LS swap and a TH350. I'd love to hear the comments in the section down below. So definitely always love to kind of hear from others what they had done, what they were successful, maybe what worked, what didn't. But yeah, thanks for joining. If this is of interest, please like, subscribe, and we will see you next time.